Today's video is all about Chirpley. Get in touch with your audience using micro and nano influencers. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals such as the team, the tokenomics, partnerships, utility, and the overall value proposition. Ultimately, trying to figure out whether we should be including this project in our portfolio for the up and coming bull run. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. And the question is Chirpley the opportunity? Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive today. We're going to be looking into some of the details behind this project, trying to figure out whether we should be bullish or not. And of course, we're going to be using the website, the main website, as our main platform to figure out whether the project, the team itself, has taken into consideration the retail market. We want to make sure that retailers have the opportunity to get all the information they need to get fundamentally bullish so they can be scaling in. And ultimately, that is an opportunity to achieve some mass adoption for Chirpley, and any other projects for that matter need to consider the retail investor. That way, mass adoption, that way we get a lot more inflows, a lot more individuals getting into the project, looking into some of the details that it has to offer, and obviously super bullish. So we're going to be looking at the website and using the website. Let's begin. As you can see, the landing page, it does look really good. You know, the design of the overall website is really nice and appealing. I really appreciate it. It's clean. It looks obviously has a lot of appeal with regards to its cartoon and animation, all that kind of stuff. So nano equals mega. If we continue going down, just the top tabs, you can see we have a vision and mission, their platform, launch the app, staking, and then you got some sort of QR code. If you keep on going down, we have target a relevant audience on social. So if you want to become a user of the platform, obviously it comes in twofold. Either you are an influencer or you're a user or an individual that wants to connect with others, right? So easy connect with your platform. So they support a couple of platforms. They have obviously some of the major ones, Telegram, X or Twitter, if you X, YouTube. They have many others, Instagram, and of course TikTok, and all the rest, and Discord. Of course, Discord's a big one nowadays, you know, getting very popular. So they all have the most popular applications, but still, I'm trying to figure out, obviously we're going to scroll through and kind of figure those a little bit more. I'm trying to figure out what the overall value proposition in here is, right? And I'm sure they're going to do a great job explaining. Cool animations here. Chirpley is the world's first automated peer-to-peer all-in-one influencer marketplace, okay? Specifically focused on nano and micro influencers. So this is an interesting thing, because what they're trying to do is bring a decentralized peer-to-peer marketplace for influencers. Now, of course, influencers have some sort of value proposition, and usually it's the influence, of course, based on its definition, the influence that it has over society in general, like for purchasing decisions. And in this case, a Chirpley will provide marketers, right, individuals that are in the space, businesses or any other marketers, with the freedom to act fast and effectively thanks to the possibility of a one-click marketing bomb. Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit more. Easy to join, think bigger, monetize your influence. So if you're an influencer, the world's first automated peer-to-peer all-in-one influencer marketplace, specifically focused on nano and micro influencers, ensuring the best engagement available. So in this case, if you are a small influencer, and you're trying to make it monetize, or have a bit of get a bit of cash flow or anything like that, in this case you're able to use the Chirpley platform to connect yourself with some of those businesses, some of those marketing teams that are looking for influencers. So this is almost like an ability to connect both a user and in this case the customer and the individuals that's offering the service. So it's almost like a broker, a middleman between, but it's a decentralized middleman. And this is where that marketplace comes in. And the marketplace, as far as I can see, is the main utility, or the main project, or within the ecosystem. The entire ecosystem revolves around this marketplace, which is obviously great. And we see the AI matching. So What happens here is that if you're an influencer, there's an AI model that basically matches you up with the best marketer. So influencer and marketer. So through artificial intelligence and machine learning, influencer and marketer will be paired to perfection. So this is what's interesting here, is that they're able to use data that is collected about the different influencers and about the different marketers, and make sure that the influencer and the marketer are a great fit, so that the the influencer efforts, offer the maximum impact for the marketers. So this is actually a great value proposition and great use of AI technology, because of course AI is just about data collection and synthesizing that data into something more valuable, where we can, make better decisions, or better reactions or actions in this case. Matched like ever before, tailor made as nowhere else. And what I like is this nowhere else type of thing. To be honest, I've never seen a project, I haven't seen a project in the crypto space trying to achieve this. I feel like Chirpley is definitely one of the first, or if not the first and only at the current moment, that is doing this type of implementation of blockchain technology. And it does resemble a very Web 2 type of a service, which already exists, but they're trying to decentralize this concept and trying to, use the old economics behind cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, which I appreciate. But this is the thing here, guys. We're looking at bringing in Web 2 company or Web 2 idea into Web 3. And definitely that's the future. That's where we want to see a lot of that transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So I appreciate Chirpley's efforts here, trying to get into the Web 3 space and become the first mover and get that first mover advantage. If they get the first mover advantage, really there's no competition, but obviously there's a lot of benefits with that. But also there's a lot of, let's say, challenges, one of which is navigating uncharted territory. It has no real let's say benchmarks or targets based on competition or anything. We don't know where Chirpley is going to be going with this. Ultimately, we can just judge it based on it itself and the efforts of the team and the project itself, and the overall value proposition. So far so good. It's very clear as what it's trying to offer. Again, it's a marketplace, bringing in influencers, bringing in marketers, and both influencers and marketers are going to be put together, and they're going to be benefiting off of what they have to offer. And in this case, influencers offer their influence based on their overall community, and the marketers are going to benefit from that, community, obviously, by the influencer, talking about their products or services or whatever the case may be. Let's keep on going down. Let's see what's going on here. Lifted results, effectiveness, dizziness. Okay, that's fine. A little bit of marketing there. And then we got an egg here at the bottom. That's an interesting. I like the graphics. I like the animations. I think it's really, really creative, and it's a very high quality, which I really do appreciate. The website is almost addictive in that case, right? You can kind of see that it's pretty well done. They got media kits, teams and partners. Let's open up this teams and partners. Media kit is going to get all the type of graphics. Token. Let's open up that. Let's open up the roadmap. They got a more info section. Let me see what that is. Nothing. A Git book. Let's open up that. We're going to open up some of these docs, and let's open up that. And then they have some random logos. So you guys know how I really, really don't appreciate random logos without justification. Okay, they're listed on Bybit. They're listed on Mexi. They're also listed on CoinMarketCap. I think they were having a bit of an issue of getting updated information on CoinMarketCap, but all good. And then 8bound, Baby Doge, and then CoinGecko and Uniswap. These are all like either exchanges, DEXs, centralized exchanges, or some sort of basically an aggregator of some sort. So interesting altogether, but not really defined as partners just yet. We're going to get into the team and the partners here in a second, so we can figure out what that's all about. And that concludes the main website. Really, it's a very Web 2 type of website. I'll put it that. The design of it is very, very high quality. However, usually right here we get a very right around this level, we get a very traditional white paper link somewhere. We need a white paper based on its technology. Where's the white paper, right? So we start looking into the docs, into the Git book and all of this. And let's do that. Let's see what's going on here with, let's see, that's the token. Let me see some documentation. Let's bring here. Well, so what is it? Documentation, creating an account. So this is the actual use. I think we should do that in a second. Let's do the introduction of the actual project. You can see what makes Chirpley unique: automated introduction, automated matchmaking, data-driven influencer evaluation, most cost and time efficient method to plan and automate influencer campaigns. So an influencer can come on here and create a campaign for a business or a marketing team, which is what is trying to achieve here, and implement with all the leading social media outlets, which is good. We saw all those links, Discord and all of that, and that's a really good obviously thing to have at this current moment, given that a lot of individuals, especially within the crypto space right now, are anticipating this bull run, and marketing dollars right now could be used to the maximum. Marketing dollars are expensive, and in a bear market, a lot of the companies, and I've been saying this for a good while, during a bear market, a lot of these companies withhold spending marketing dollars because they're not as effective. But now that we're seeing this retracement, we're seeing the market kind of pull back, and we're still in anticipation of a continuation for a bull run. Right now it's the time to see a lot of these companies implement marketing dollars. So I'm seeing that there's a good potential for Chirpley to see some of these benefits in the next little while. So not bad right there. Web3 enabled, obviously. It's trying to transition its idea, which is a Web2 idea, into a Web3 space. What makes Chirpley unique? It's AI driven. So AI is not just unique to Chirpley, but its implementation and how it executes it is unique, because there's no other crypto company right now that's doing this type of service. One-click marketing bombs, free access to both brand and influencer, end-to-end automation. So a lot of good stuff here, of course, social media channels and so on. Product Chirpley, the actual Chirp CHRP token, it definitely has a lot of utility that we're going to talk about here in a second, and so on. But you can definitely go through all these definitions and see what's going on here in those little details. Chirpley, a marketing strategy. What I've noticed is that the team, and we'll talk about the team obviously in a bit more detail, but the team is very talented within the marketing. Obviously, the team needs to be solid within the marketing field, but it's definitely powerful. So I definitely appreciate that, because this is a marketing play. If anything, run specific cross-media campaigns to promote Chirpley and keep milestones, video reviews on YouTube, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to see this happen. I did try to reach out to the team to speak about this video, and they didn't respond. So I'm curious as to what stage they are in at this current moment with regards to video and reviews and on YouTube and so on. I feel like they may be feeling that there are opportunities here, and that maybe marketing dollars are best put in other places. So I'm not sure what their strategy is here on the current moment. It's not very clear to me. Which technologies does Chirpley use? Of course, if you want to go look into their backend, how much of it is actually decentralized? We have AI. Is it an AI interface? Do they outsource this AI interface? I see a separate engine that can interact with corresponding micro services, and they do have a partnership with an AI project, which we're going to talk about in a second. And there's a lot here. There's obviously a lot of backend information. Changing the landscape. What it does is with this page, it just kind of defines what is this whole concept of influencer and marketer relationship, and the Web 2 opportunities, and then transition into the Web 3 engagement and trust, mega influencers, and so on. So there's a lot of good stuff here to talk about. Connect made easy, and so on. Minimal effort, maximum result. I believe that we generally, by reading the front page, we were able to get a lot of the information that is said here. It has a lot of good benefits. It's clear, and they just, as small influencers going places, I think this is the best value proposition at the current moment, because small influencers do have basically a lot of challenge. The struggle is them getting some attention. When you have big influencers, they get all the attention. Of course, they get all the views, they get all the click, they get all the interaction, and when you get all that engagement, basically the little guys get lost, and this gives them an opportunity to play at an equal playing field. which is definitely a game changer concerning the use of small influencers over the mega ones. And obviously, the mega ones want to make, they want to get paid. And obviously, sometimes when you get too big, when they're too big, they're not as, let's say, clear, the clarity is not there, and maybe the overall transparency is not there. So when you're speaking to small influencers, I think that might be beneficial for a marketing team anyway. So there's a lot of good stuff here. Their business model is quite interesting. I think we're going to spend a little bit of time here. What I want to really look at is their revenue, and what I appreciate here is that a lot of crypto companies do not have a clear business model and how they're going to actually monetize, because monetization is directly related to the utility of the token. If the token is used and it has good utility, that's great. But if there's a way for the project itself to actually earn, and that means the token has an ability also to go up in value, because usually the earning of a bit of a Web3 company or a business, or the revenue stream, is directly related to the value of the coin itself, right? So this is something, or the token itself, this is something that we really have to understand, because at this point, like, I don't see this very often where you have a clear business model. Basically, they take a 20% gross margin from every transaction, but it's not directly 20%. It's combined. Okay, we'll talk about that and we'll get into more detail, because brands pay a handling fee of 10% on top of their chosen budget. So there's a bit of a fee both ways, right? 50% discount if it's done through the Chirpley token. So if they pay through the Chirpley token, basically they receive a bit of a discount, which is obviously a utility for the token. The token, if you pay, you get a reward, and the reward is a reduction in fees. The influencer now receives their payout minus the 10%. So handling fee in the end, 20% of the total fee is used for token buyback. So what happens is this fee, right? And then the fee also, 10% of it is paid in crypto, right, for campaign budget. And then the payout is, there's another 10% fee for the influencer cash out. And then there's a total of 20%. But what's interesting is that 20%, these 20% basically, you get a buyback up. So 20% of the total fee is used for token buyback, and it will be burned. So there's a burning mechanism here. So what I find this to be very beneficial for many reasons is because not only is it deflationary, which is a hot buzzword, and nowadays we want to see a deflationary aspect to the algorithm itself, and in the function of the project, but the buzzness of deflationary, of the burning mechanism. A lot of people like that when they see those words. It's definitely something that adds value, especially from a retail investor. The other 80% flows back into the ecosystem for marketing, development, and user rewards, and so on. So they're basically saying, look, we plan on being profitable as we onboard more marketers and more influencers. We're going to be taking fees based on handling, right? A handling fee of 10% on top of their chosen budget. And then basically they're going to take that fee and just basically put it into, burning and back into the ecosystem. Bonus. Guys, pretty good stuff here in general as far as business goes, because I don't really see this very often where a project actually has a business model. Chirpley token economy. Let's see what this is. Copy link. No. Let's see the token itself. So deflationary utility token with Chirpley system. We talked about that, so I'm not going to get into that into a little bit in that much detail. But what I do want to talk about is the fact is that there's passive rewards, which means that, if you stake it up for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, basically on the platform, basically you have the possibility to earn APY, which is obviously another value proposition of being a token holder. And as you're locking up or holding your Chirpley tokens into a locking period, basically those tokens hypothetically are not being circulated. They're being locked up because those individuals want those rewards. And what happens with that is that there's less circulating supply. Although it is in circulation, it's not actively circulating because they're locked up, or by intention not being traded. And this is a good thing for the market to see the Chirpley price move up eventually. Supply shock, and then we see an increase in value. And as the APY is consistently rewarding individuals, I can see that individuals will continue, locking up their tokens or their tokens. Influencer will be paid in Chirpley, which is very important to understand for the utility, because there's a back end mechanism that allows basically any transaction to be paid in any cryptocurrency. So let's see if we can find some details on that in back end, due to which influencers get paid. Okay, here we go. So the brand can make payments in any currency, whether it be fiat or crypto. Because of the swapping mechanism in the underlying layer, which it's on the Binance Smart Chain, and it's got also the Ethereum chain, and a currency would be converted straight into Chirpley tokens in the backend. So the brand or the user doesn't even see what's really happening in the front. It's all done in the backend, where those payments, whether it be fiat or crypto, are going to be converted right into Chirpley automatically, which is great, because then it increases the utility of the token, in the sense that it's almost like no choice, because then afterwards the influencer gets paid in Chirpley tokens, which increases the sustainability of the token. Of course it does, right? There's utility, there's action, there's volume, and this is something that we want to see. 20% gross margin is taken on each transaction, out of which 1/5 is sent to the burn address directly. We talked about that already, which is obviously that burning mechanism. Now, if we keep on jumping down, we talked about the staking, which is great. And then one thing that I want to just mention and keep this in your in your mind's eye is the fact is that they speak about a DAO, and as Chirpley moves onto a DAO model into the future, it's going to be using those tokens as a voting mechanism, being able to basically allow token holders to vote, and obviously give them voting rights based on the amount of tokens they hold, right? That's usually how it works. However, guys, I just want to be very clear based on the roadmap, and it seems to be a very updated roadmap, whatever the roadmap it is, and we're going to talk about the roadmap in a second. There's no real mention about the DAO, which is problematic for me, because if it's planned on having a DAO, it should be on the roadmap, number one. And number two, I think that the project, especially with regards to tokenomics, would be very useful and very decentralized way of basically based on the tokenomics suggests that it's a very centralized distribution. And if you put in a DAO into place, it starts to decentralize the way the tokens are being distributed in the emissions. Okay, so let's talk about that in a little bit more detail, because that would make a lot more sense. I know I'm kind of like maybe butchering this idea, but what I really want you to understand is that if we look at early stakeholders in general, who are the individuals that are getting in early? Who are the individuals that are early stakeholders, including the team and so on? We have a pre-seed, 8%. We have a seed round, 2.5%. We have a private round, 2.7%. We have a calls and marketing, 1.8%. Public IDO, so basically initial DEX offering, very early stakeholder, 10%. And you can see the token prices. These guys are getting discounts, right? They're getting discounts on the value of the token, which means that these individuals are going to be in profit much earlier than these individuals, which obviously post IDO, which is a bit of an issue, because they're going to be in profits a lot earlier. We have to understand that their incentive to sell is obviously going to be there. And if you calculate this, and obviously Chirpley with its transparency, I do appreciate, does put it right here onto the list that it's worth about 25% of the tokens, which is, a little bit, it is enough to suggest, wow, there's a bit of pressure here, maybe a bit of sell pressure. But what I also want to understand, and I want to bring out to your attention, is that the team also, early stakeholder, however, there is a vesting period, very clear. We have to make sure that we understand that there is a vesting period to protect investors for dilution, but the team also has a 10% allocation, which technically they are early stakeholders, but they're not getting tokens early on. Fine, I respect that. They have the token sale to the public, I'm assuming, ecosystem development fund. So now let's talk about what these funds are all about, right? Like token sale, okay, fine, that's done. Ecosystem fund, development fund, who controls that wallet? That's concerning to me, right? Because it's 10%. Then we look at the treasury. Who controls that wallet? That's 8.5. Then you look at the team. Okay, fine. Obviously, the team is going to have to get paid. Everybody's got to eat. We know that. Then there's a marketing budget of 15%. Who controls that? Who makes the decisions, right, on that? Who decides who's going to be hired to do the marketing, or is it the team itself, or so on? Like, what's going on with those tokens? Who's in control of those tokens? And you continue going down. Liquidity for AMM, market maker, and exchanges. Okay, so we need those that liquidity to get listed on exchanges, which is obviously clear. We need that liquidity. But again, who's in control? Who decides which exchange? How does that really play out as far as control? We want to know the centralization or the decentralization aspect of these wallets, which is very concerning to me, given that you can see as we add up all of this, it starts to add up significantly, right? About 50% of the tokens are being controlled by the team in this case, because there is no DAO. The DAO's effort is to decentralize the way these tokens are being distributed into the market. Now, just keep in mind, circulating supply is about 50%. So 50% of these tokens are already out there in circulation, but the other 50 are not. So we're going to have to kind of like, keep that in mind. Liquidity so we have obviously community incentives and rewards. Okay, what does that really mean? Okay, maybe some community incentives as far as giving giveaways and so on, or sponsoring YouTube channels and things like that. But 15%, that's a lot. Who controls that? Who decides on these decisions, right? On how this capital is going to be deployed? Advisors and partners, another 5.5%. Who's controlling that? Who belongs to this category? Early adopters and airdrops is only 1%, not a big deal, but still, again, these individuals are going to be getting some sort of tokens early on. So we have to understand the total after allocation is basically a total 100%, of course, but we're at a $1 billion token amount, which is, fine, but look at the distribution. We have to really rely on a vesting schedule, right? The emissions has to be controlled by some sort of schedule, which I appreciate, but we have to understand that without a DAO, a lot of these tokens are in control of the team, and which kind of bother me, because it brings a level of centralization into the aspect of the project, right? When a lot of tokens, I would say about 50%, give or take, are in control of the team, right? And again, is this a faith-based system, or do we want a system of which we have automation in smart contracts, right? And that's where, and obviously a decentralization when we have a decentralized autonomous organization, and that's where I'm saying an implementation of a DAO would be very, very useful here, because it would bring some confidence into the retail investor. But not only that, it should be included on the roadmap, which it is not. And obviously we'll get into that. So 21 billion diluted valuation. Okay, 1 billion total supply, max supply, and that's fine. All good. So pretty good, nice and transparent. I appreciate that. Now, if you go into the vesting schedule, obviously, you can look at this in a little bit more detail, but we've talked about a lot of this, the supply, the TGE. So only at the public IDO stage, they did get a discount, right? Total discount, and 15% were released. And then early adopters, airdrop, which is only 1%, so no big deal. Not too much stress on liquidity there, basically on sell pressure. So it's not bad ultimately, but this is a bit of a concern, but nothing major. And then we see obviously that the rest of the early stakeholders get their tokens based on a clear emissions, 12 months, 8 months, 2 months, 3 months, and so on. And then we have, right after, we have 72 hours. The team starts the marketing, 1 year cliff, followed by monthly vesting. The team starts getting paid, release pre-TGE. So there's a little bit here, which is 10% of the supply. So you get what I mean. Ultimately, there's an unlock schedule that eventually these tokens will be hitting the market strategically, and not to impact current holders, because if the tokens enter the market all at once, there would be sell pressure, of course, and the dilution will bring that sell pressure. So I respect the fact that they do have an emission schedule considering vesting and all of that, but we have to understand that there is going to be systematic periodic sell pressure based on these unlocks. Okay, so let's keep in mind, what I really would appreciate would be a nice chart chart of some sort, a graph to show where we're at with regards to the schedule and how much emissions based on the circulating supply, which if we go on CoinGecko, fully diluted 20 circulating supply is about 58% of the current supply right now, of the max supply. So there's quite a bit of them already in circulation that we gotta, keep in mind. At the end of the day, that's gonna, bring some pressure. Current sale, let's see. Okay, not much in the team, guys. So might as well talk about the team here for a second. Now that I'm here on this tab, I was looking through the team and I see, the founder job. Okay, strategic acquisition, treasury and investor relations, business development. So not real, very clear on any blockchain or tech experience per se, but does have a lot of experience in business development. And then we have some others, marketing, IT organization, which is good. But what got me really interested was Jerome is an expert in software engineer with expertise in development, automation, and smart contract implementation. This is this dude right here. Okay, ultimately, there's these LinkedIn accounts are not clickable. However, when we go to the main page and we look at the team section, which is right here, and we scroll down, we get another iteration of that list, and we can see the founder. We do have a growth hacker. So these are social media specialists, I guess. Growth hacker, TikTok guru. Very informal titles. That's fine. Filmmaker, and then creative marketer. So very heavy into the marketing side of things, which with no real, I don't see anything that's giving me an inclination that they have anybody that is based on the tech. What happened to the Web3 talent? What happened to the blockchain talent? So, and then ultimately, I'm questioning what happened to Jerome. Jerome is no longer listed on the main page. Is he not part of the team anymore? And I did go on the LinkedIn account to go and see if there was any connections there, and I wasn't able to clearly find his presence any longer. So that for me is a little bit worrisome. Who is leading the tech? Is it just just influencer or social media talent, or is there anybody that is a full stack developer, a blockchain developer that could lead the team to higher levels? This is a concern to me. Although the team is very strong in what they do as far as the socials and the business development, but I do want to see some talent. In fact, given that they're trying to transition a Web 2 type of business into Web 3, I believe that blockchain talent should be front and center, right at the front, right next to the CEO, because ultimately we're trying to convince the retail investor that we can see a Web 2 business transition into Web 3. And in order to really, really do that, we need to see somebody that specializes in Web 3 tech. And obviously all this is great, but I think this is heavily weighted into the social media side of things, which is obviously good, but we need a healthy balance, guys. Teams need to be balanced. Let's keep on going down. And now what concerns me a little bit here is that we have team and partners. Okay, cool. Great. Nice graphics. I love it. Great stuff here. This is cool. Very informal, but I like it. And then we start coming down and we see trusted by the best. Now, are they insinuating that these are partners? Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, these are they're not partners. A lot of them are not partners. Strategic partnerships. I can see a lot of VCs. That's just capital being provided, liquidity being provided to the team. And we want to take that as a positive or a negative. You have arguments on both ends. VCs nowadays are not are pretty much frowned upon quite a bit, because really a lot of them just get in and they get out. They dump on the market as soon as they have the opportunity to have any return on their investment. We know this. This has been done significantly on this pullback in the market. So we have to understand that, just because you have a bunch of VCs, look, anything with capital, these are all basically funds. They're providing funds, and it's very useful to have these funds for marketing dollars and exchange listings and all that good stuff, but really they're not partnerships. And I'm glad that they don't have the word partner here, and they have trusted by. That's fine. Maybe they have relationships with them, but where are the partners? this is important, is that they need to be clear for the retail investor as to which project or which logo here is a partner. And my opinion is that once you click that partner, they should give you an idea of what type of relationship they have, what type of strategic partnership it has, and how is that partnership going to scaffold Chirpley to the next level. How is it strategic? So if you keep on looking here, like if you click on any of these, it's going to take you directly to their website for the most part. And for me, like Bybit is not a partner, Mexi is not a partner, Floki and Doge, Baby Doge, these are, and D-Pad and all these launch pads are not partnerships. They're just strategic, not even strategic. They're just relationships that, you know, they work together. That's fine. But really, it's not, they will live without each other. I want to see a strategic partnership that is vital to the growth of Chirpley and to this, you know, the existence of Chirpley for the future. I want to see what kind of value they actually bring. And really, there's a lot of partners with Mexi. There's a lot of partners with Bybit, because every single project, coin or token listed on Bybit and Mexi, according to their definition, is a partner. So let's be very clear about what partnerships are. Obviously, I'm not keen about this, and I've been saying this very often. They need to be very selective as to which you know, logos they put on here, and stress the importance of the ones that actually bring value. Okay, let's move on from that. We see a lot of links again, lots of links everywhere. Let's move on. What else do we have here? We talk about the token. Let's take a look at the tokenomics here for a second, or better yet, yeah, let's take a look at tokenomics. We talked about this already. We've seen it already, so a bit of repetition. I'm not going to get into it a little bit more in any more detail. It's repetition based on that doc that we saw, the discount, all of that. The token utility, maybe we didn't get into that. So they do a bit of a roundup here, which is interesting. But if you read this, it kind of does, they kind of get into a bit of a tangent sometimes, right? So the brand can make the payment in any currency. That's not really the token utility per se. It's a feature of the blockchain or their contract that they have, whether fiat or crypto, because of the swapping mechanism. Okay, layer, that's not really a utility in the sense of the token itself, of the Chirpley token. And then we go down, 20% of the gross margin is taken in each transaction. Okay, not really a utility other than the burning aspect. So what can we use Chirpley token for is to create a deflationary mechanism, which is very clear here that they burn a certain amount of those tokens. That's a utility that actually adds, has a function, a purpose. That's the purpose of the token, is to burn it at any given point based on a very clear rule or structure or condition, which is based on earnings or gross margin. Okay, so really that's basically a little bit of fluff here that really doesn't really apply to the utility, in my opinion. And then we keep on going down. Passive rewards, that's a utility. What can we use the Chirpley token for? To earn passive rewards through staking. That's a good utility, and staking also give holders the voting power. But again, I'm going to throw this out there. It's not really, the DAO is not there. The model in the future. So they're basically waiting for the future implementation of a DAO. So yes, this is forward thinking. So this is not part of the utility at the current moment, but I'm anticipating that they will eventually put this behind the DAO, because I think it really needs it, to be honest. I think it really does. Okay, so pretty good. I think that this could be summarized and be and provided a little bit more clarity, and you know, just focusing on the true utilities, not explaining everything else in the back end, because it does get repetitive, because this has already been spoken about many times, and in addition to that, it doesn't really apply to the utility much, a lot of this. Okay, so just keep in mind, we'll review this in a second. I'll summarize it very clearly when I give you guys that the infographic where I summarize this entire deep dive in a second. So let's keep on moving on. Let's take a look at the roadmap. The roadmap is well established in the sense that they do have years, and then they have their objectives. So 2021, 22, 23, and then they go quarterly, which is useful because then at least we can put a little bit of a time frame as to what they're going to achieve in the next little while. But again, there's no mention of a DAO. And I think the DAO is super necessary. Like, when do they plan on implementing this DAO? And then I feel like it needs a little bit of an update because, of course, your Q2 2024, we're in it, guys. They need a little bit more detail here. So the roadmap is great, but it needs an update. Okay, it's good because you have the dates and all of that, but we need an update. What else do we have here? We talked about the tokens. This is the team documentation. What did see? So documentation. This documentation explains exactly how to use the platform. So you can see there's a content you can go into how to create an account. They give you screenshots on how to create it. You can sign in based on different social media platforms, activate your account. You can see they walk you through it all, the main interface and all of that. Obviously, guys, this deep dive is not based on the actual usage of the application. We're gonna have to take that for face value, take it for, granted that it actually works and all of that. But you can see that Chirpley is a brand. If you're a brand manager and you want to, basically get some social, some influencers, into your brand, and help you, influence or help you basically promote. This is your interface. This is what you would be looking at. And it gives you a lot of information, a lot of different match, different partners, different, follow how many followers and so on. You can choose which ones, select an influencer that you are looking for your specific brand. So there's a lot of information, guys. Obviously, the use case is very important. I would suggest, make an account, go play around with it. There's a lot of good, tutorials and all of that good stuff. And I think that the simplicity of the application is really good, right? In the sense that you can navigate it very, very easily. You connect your wallets. There's tons of wallets. Connect a wallet. You can see, and then there's a frequently asked questions. So how much do I get paid in Chirpley and so on. So guys, the simplicity behind the project is actually really good. So I don't feel like there's going to be any red tape or any friction as to adoption from that regard, which I'm going to give the team a lot of credit. They took a lot of effort to make things simple, and I can see that very clearly based on all of their implementations. So not bad here as far as all of this, the roadmap, the tokenomics, the team we talked about already, and the yeah, there's a lot here. AI matching, a lot of good stuff. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see what else we got here. So we mentioned that ultimately this is a marketing play. So I feel like, we should also address the fact that, they have their social media platform. They got everything going. Their Discord is only a announcement. They only have announcements, and there's no community or general discussion there. They use Telegram and all of that, which is great. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. But I think we did well. The overall value proposition of this is very straightforward. Let's take a look at the summary. Let's do the summary. You guys know that I do release one of these infographics for you guys on each of my deep dives. I'm going to be posting it on all the socials shortly, so feel free to go check those out. But ultimately, what do we see here? Basically, the Chirpley token, it's at 0.007. It's a very small market cap. We're talking about a $4 million market cap, fluctuating, of course, within market conditions. Trading volume is about 10-11%, which is healthy. I do appreciate that. And given that it's not on any major exchanges just yet, I feel like that's not bad. Usually we get a good volume when we get on major exchanges, but right now it's major exchange would be considered maybe Mexi and Bybit, and it's already getting about 11% trading volume, which is pretty good, 10 to 11%, which is good. This total supply, 58% of the tokens are in circulation, which means a good portion of them, they got another 40% or so ready to get basically emitted into the economy of things. And of course that's an opportunity to be able to see a bit of price fluctuations, maybe on unlocks. We can get a few dips here and there and being able to accumulate. The max supply 1 billion, and of course based on that burning mechanism you can see a bit of pressure on that over time. Fully diluted, and of course fully diluted, guys, it's a baby still. This is a very small market cap. It could do very, very well, and as a first mover it definitely has some sort of advantage. Let's take a look at this. overall summary in different categories. Let's talk about the ecosystem. The ecosystem doesn't really apply here because usually you talk about ecosystem based on the layer one. Now, sometimes it does apply to even a layer, a project built on, such as Chirpley, built on Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum or whatever the case is, because they do have different applications. And if I were to say, or to make reference to their internal ecosystem, it would just be basically their marketplace. Their marketplace is solid. The idea is solid. It's connecting both the influencer and the marketer and the marketing team, or the brand, whatever you want to call it. In this case, it would just be a marketplace, and that's their ecosystem, if anything. So I decided to say not applicable because really there's nothing really there to say that there's third-party applications or multiple applications. There's no need for it in that case. So it's not a negative, it's just not applicable. Utility, guys, pretty good here. I appreciate everything that it has to offer. It's a burning mechanism, passive rewards by staking, 50% discount if you use the Chirpley token. Clear and concise, no fluff, no nonsense. And you know what? It's very common to see such utility. Okay, the roadmap, and obviously we're going to talk about some other side notes when I do my actual summary here, but we're looking at some of the key characteristics. Roadmap clear with timeframes, including progress, would be useful, and an update would obviously be useful. Although it is like right at the border of where it's like, okay, what do we do next? I think an update it needs to be done any day now. Okay, we need to see what we're going to be doing in the future and where the resources are going to be allocated in future endeavors. The team needs a little bit of clarity here. The team is fully doxed, so really good there. You know, I've seen a lot of projects not be doxed, and because it's not behind the DAO, I felt like maybe they needed to be doxed and they felt the need to be doxed. A lot of the times when I see projects behind the DAO, they feel like there's no need to be doxed because the DAO decentralizes all decision making, so why do they need to be doxed? But I like the fact that they're doxed, and I also like the fact that they realize they need a DAO. So maybe we're going to be get a fully doxed team with the DAO in the future, which would be super good for transparency and decentralization. CEO has a lot of business development experience, really good there, of course, and very successful with that regard. Lots of social media talent on the team. And obviously, guys, like I mentioned, there are some areas that I wish there was a bit more transparency and clarity, and not so, and of course, it's behind the tech. The socials doing pretty good here, not bad. They got 68,000 followers on X. And their followers are up almost basically 1,700% in 30 days. So there's a lot of engagement happening. There's a lot of people getting on board and keeping an eye on Chirpley. But we also have to understand in the last little while the market has been dipping. So there's a bit of divergence happening here. There's market participation. There's people getting interested in the project while the price is coming down, guys. So this is an interesting opportunity, in my opinion, because when you see mass adoption, when you see people getting in or keeping an eye on it, and communities growing and so on, while the price is coming down, eventually that community will take over and win, and we'll definitely see some price action to the upside. I think this is a good sign. So really, really good there. Tokenomics, clear emission schedule with vesting period, great stuff there. And I just want to put out a round number here and just say approximately 30 to 31% are, of the tokens are basically in the hands of early stakeholders, including the team, right? Although they are not getting their tokens early, just understand that these tokens are part of a core group of individuals that I like to define as early stakeholders. Doesn't mean that they have tokens themselves, but they have a stake within the business, even if it's an emotional or a speculative stake. They are definitely there for the future growth or the future success of the business, and they're there very, very early, and that includes the team, which kind of like, it leads me to believe that there's a bit of, of course, a reliance on that vesting schedule, which they do have, and it's clear and it's concise. So I do want to counterbalance, this idea, but the 50% is in control of the team issue, or I'm not even sure who. I'm assuming it's the team, or else who else, is a bit of an issue, guys. It's a lot of tokens that are right up in the air there and not controlled or managed by any DAO. So this is, again, I know I'm repeating myself quite a bit with this DAO idea, but you can see how it affects and it permeates every different aspect of the of the project itself is because in Web3 we focus heavily on decentralization, and it's not just decentralizations of the core process of the business or the everyday fundamentals of the business, but it also depends on the tokenomics, right? Because if a majority of one group of individual own a lot of the tokens, that means it's very centralized as far as ownership goes, right? So this is or influence goes. So this is an issue here. 50% is in the control of the team. We need a DAO. We need decentralization over that of those tokens ASAP, in my opinion. Okay, so partnerships, lots of VCs. We saw lots of VCs on that list. Now, are they partnerships? Are they their relationships? Are they strategic? Maybe not. They're just ways of raising liquidity. And there are two strategies. One of which a project may decide to rely on slow growth, fair launch, and relying on the retail investor to eventually adopt and buy and stake and hold. And that usually is a very organic, long-winded process. However, getting VCs involved is a lot faster, quicker, and obviously has a scenario where you pack a punch, but then usually it pumps up and then it dumps down really quickly when those VCs want to get paid. Their ultimate goal for any VC, right? The majority of them, I'm not going to put a blanket statement on all, but majority is to take a quick return on their investment. That's the role of a VC. That's how they make gains. That's how they run their business, profitable businesses. They don't really necessarily care about the tech or any other investments that they do that even isn't within tech for that matter. They just want a return on their investment. And that kind of bothers me. And to be honest, a lot of the new retail investors that are coming into this space are realizing that VC capital is not necessarily the most friendly for the project. So we got to understand that. And then of course we have a lot of those links, guys. I encourage that all these teams literally be specific as to which links or logos they put on their website and say partners, and make them clickable and give us an idea of what that partnership is about and why it is strategic. I see GPT 360 that was listed on their socials, which is good, and Nemis, another one that's a partnership, and the GPT 360 is an AI play, and Nemis is also a social media play, if I'm not mistaken. So these are good partnerships. I think that they're decent, and because it's a small market cap, any little partnership and relationship is very useful. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 because they need to provide a little bit more transparency and clarity here, and ultimately I think that's where they need to do a bit of improvement as far as their partnerships. Just because they put logos and make announcements of partnerships doesn't mean that they're strategic. Sometimes they're a bit deceiving. Let's be honest there. Okay, exchanges: Bybit, Mexi, Uniswap. So Bybit and Mexi being their major centralized exchanges, providing the majority of the liquidity. Uniswap is a centralized, decentralized exchange with PancakeSwap, and of course, it's good to have all of them. But we are missing major exchanges like Binance. We're missing maybe a bit of KuCoin, maybe Coinbase. You get what I mean? So we have a little bit more growth or potential growth here, which means that we can go from a 4 to an 8, 9, or 10. Based on getting listed on major exchanges. So that is either an opportunity or maybe not, because reality is at this current level, there's a bit of lack of liquidity in the sense that if you want to sell. But what's interesting that we're getting good trading volume. So, based on what they have, based on Mexi and Bybit, they're getting good trading volume. So I do see liquidity there, but it's not sustainable unless you get other outlets, unless you get on other exchanges. And of course, that's going to happen eventually, guys. We're going to see Chirpley get very successful here, and it's going to be listed on other exchanges. So either I would consider this an opportunity as well, because before it gets listed, usually you're at one price and then it gets listed and it pumps up with that volume, and the price definitely does pump up. So consider this potentially an opportunity as well. Both ways, you got to be critical. We want liquidity, and we also want to make sure that we're, listed on exchanges so that we can have a sustainable amount of liquidity for the future. So all good stuff here. Now, let's just keep in mind that this project is very new. Okay, I know it looks like it's been very established, but if you see its market cap and you see it when it was actually deployed, it was launched in the bear market, obviously the beginning of the previous bear market. And I remember being an early buyer of this token, and it coming down and being being in profit for a little while and then obviously seeing it come down wasn't a good feeling. But ultimately, now that we're looking for a bull run, I think that this price target, this current scenario is pretty good. So what we do see here is a first mover advantage. Okay, a first mover advantage meaning that the social media marketing with no direct competition. Really, there's nobody else in the space that is doing this. That's really, really healthy. Integrating AI within the AI narrative and doing this social media marketing type of marketplace where influencers and brands can come together and match and pair up to one another and basically have that marketplace going, which is really, really useful. What I don't like is this distribution. We talked about that already. 50% in control of the team, and then more or less 30% in control of early stakeholders. This needs to be kind of like decentralized, and especially the 50%. It needs to be on the DAO. And the future utility of the token is that it will provide voting for that DAO. I think they should put that in direct. It should be a sense of urgency on that. They shouldn't be sleeping on it. They should get that going ASAP, in my opinion. Obviously, the brand can make payment in any currency, whether fiat or crypto. That's a very good feature. Why? Because there's no friction. As a customer, let's say the brand is the actual customer, the brand has no friction. They pay, they check out, and they get out. Any crypto, even including fiat. That's great. And then the mechanism in the back end allows those funds to be translated or converted into Chirpley tokens. And in that way, the influencer can get paid in Chirpley tokens, which increases the sustainability of the token, which is very, very healthy. I appreciate that significantly. Again, many logos which are not very strategic partnerships. I think that needs to be cleaned up and and provide a bit of clarity there. Team documentation and team webpage don't list the same talent. What's with that? Like, if you look at the documentation, and then you look at the main website, the page on the website, there's different individuals being listed there, one of which has a blockchain specialist or a Web3 specialist, someone that is talented within the tech. And then on the website, he's not listed there. Like, where's that talent? Where's that individual or any other individual that's going to lead this Web3 project into the Web3 space? We need Web3 talent into every single team. They in my opinion, those individuals should be front and center. So that's a bit of an issue for me. What's happening there with that relationship or that with that individual in the team? Clarity. No blockchain and full stack dev listed. That's a concern to me personally. That's a concern because as a developer myself, I appreciate having that talent on board to keep up with current trends, to keep up with current implementation of blockchain technology. They need somebody there. Now, they could have somebody. What do I know, right? Ultimately, but according to the research, according to the documentation, and to the LinkedIn, I don't see anything. So make it clear, make it visible, make it available to the retail investors so they can get fundamentally bullish. If it's not there, who's in charge? Who is responsible to make this information readily available? The X feed is engaging. I'm going to stop right there and kind of show you what their X feed looks like. Their X feed is really, really nice. Let's quickly look at Chirpley here. See how quickly Chirp. Let's see if I can find Chirp. Let's spell this right. Chirpley. That's great. They got some great engagement here. And if you keep on scrolling down, you do see that the graphics, the media, their implementation, their association with the sport and all of that is really good. It's really great. I appreciate all of this. Look at that. Good stuff here, lots of engagement, the graphics, Instagram on Chirpley. They got a lot happening here, which is really, really cool. Of course, you can see, I'm going to scroll through here quick. They got a few partners all the way back at the bottom. As you keep on scrolling, got a few partner listed that I already discussed. So feel free to check that out. But you can see, like, it's really cool, like really, really nice graphics. I like the talent behind the art. I think the art aspect of things here is really, really good. Okay, so let's go back to here. So speaking of this, I just want to quickly go back and just kind of make it clear that the socials, although their followers are up, their posts in the last 30 days are down 37%. And I can see that based on their engagement on X is that they need a few more posts. And I see them trying to jump on the football bandwagon, but I think they need a little bit more there. They need something happening. Right. So their feed is very their X feed is very engaging. However, their Discord, guys, I don't know why, but I am finding that Discord is a much better platform than Telegram or any other, in my opinion. Obviously, this is just my opinion. Everybody can choose what they like, but I like Discord because it keeps everything organized, and all our literally Discord and communication and information that we can disseminate to the general public is very organized, where Telegram is just a feed and it becomes very, very cluttered and spammy very easily. So although their Telegram is active, I wish to see a Discord, but I do understand that having so many platforms require marketing dollars to individuals there to man and basically be a part of all these different outlets. But guys, Discord, in my opinion, is a great outlet. I wouldn't make it an announcement only thing. I would have a community being built on there on the sidelines. I've seen some great projects use Discord very effectively and efficiency. And the reality is the majority of the techies out there, quote unquote techies, appreciate Discord much more. So the individuals that are on Discord are more likely to be more directly related to the tech side of things than Telegram. Of course, that's what I feel, and that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now let's talk about the target, guys. This is a difficult one. You got to admit, this is a very difficult one because there's no real competition here. There's no benchmark. There's no other project out there to really base my prediction. And obviously there's no crystal ball that's going to tell us exactly where this is going to go. But what I said is this: if Chirp can make it to a $500 million market cap, I can't see why this can't do 100x. And $500 million market cap is very achievable. It's very modest. It's not like we're going to the moon in one go. And I'm not even sure if we can see a $500 million market cap within this bull run, to be honest. Like, it might take multiple bull runs, but I do feel if this continues and they continue with this current marketing strategy, this current implementation, the way they are packaging for product market fit, the way they're doing it is very appealing. And of course, social media marketing is not going anywhere in the immediate short term. I feel like it's very reasonable to see it to go to about 85 cents. Now, why wouldn't I see it go to a nice psychological round number, a nice psychological level of $1? That is very possible, guys. So I'm just keeping my eye out there. I'm realizing that Chirpley has a lot of potential to reach about $500 million market cap, and then we can reassess based on what's going on, because $500 million market cap from its current state is a significant leap, and it's a great achievement. And we're talking about 100x plus here to see a dollar or even 85 cents. So that's a significant move. I would say that if we get that 100xer out of Chirpley, guys, consider yourself profitable, consider yourself a great investor, and take profit and reward yourself for taking that risk nice and early on a decent project. I give it a 9 out of 10 because there's still obviously some things that need to be improved. Overall package is a 9 out of 10. But if you look at, the different categories, it doesn't necessarily, I get it, add up to 9 out of 10. But the things that it needs to improve are not as strong as the things that they're doing very well at. Okay, this is something that we have to understand, is that the overall value proposition, the overall package of this project is super strong. And this is why I say 9 out of 10 for Chirpley. I appreciate what it has to offer. All right, guys, let's take a look at price action, because I know you're here to talk about charts as well. So let's see what's going on here with the Chirpley token. At the end of the day, it has been falling, but you know what? The whole market has been falling. It's not just exclusive to Chirpley. So we have to understand that as the market is falling, we're getting opportunities across the crypto space to be buying the dip at much lower levels. Let's take a look at this in a little bit of detail to see what we can, conclude here. We do see that the price did fall back to a previous levels of accumulation. We got a node of volume here at about 0.0048, and I think it's possible that we do come there for another bearish target, but we are hitting a wall. This wall of supply and demand is definitely here. You can see it based on the volume profile, this wall right here. Okay, so this is a lot of accumulation, a lot of market participation, a lot of emotional individuals at this level that could cause the price to get a nice bounce. Now, what I don't like is as this price is falling with this next leg to the downside, we got an increase in volume, suggesting that market participation was involved in this. They agreed on this dump, whereas this move to the downside right here was a very low volume move, and people got into short positions on a bullish response because of what they've been seeing. So taking profit, that's why we got that huge wick to the upside. Now, what I can say is this: buying in at this current level, obviously you're buying a decent dip. It's very clear. Like there's there's nothing I can say other than you're not buying the tops. You're not exit liquidity here. However, I cannot say that you're buying the bottom, because we did not form any structure and we're still in a free fall type of scenario, right? We're still making those lower lows and lower highs with no structural change in the price action. And until we get a change of character in the price action, we have to assume that the trend is our friend, unfortunately. However, based on horizontal support zones, based on previous price action, we got this high, we got this high. We can exclude this wick because it's a low volume wick. Look at the volume profile, very low volume into this area. So although the wick went up, there was not a lot of market participation. The majority of it ended right around this level, and also within this zone right here we got these tops right here. So we are currently battling a level of which we should be getting some support based on horizontal, which I appreciate, guys, and based on volume, which also I appreciate. Let's take a look at the momentum. Momentum is oversold, getting a slight bullish divergence as we are making lower lows on the price action. We are making higher lows on the momentum. Volatility is definitely oversold, and the expansion is also getting a bullish divergence, where this expansion, this current expansion in comparison to the previous expansion, is much lower. So we're moving upwards, and as long as we don't come down and make a lower low here on the expansion to the downside, it does look like a bullish divergence. And that goes on also with the momentum, which is the purple line. As long as we don't make a lower low in this purple line, we have a class A bullish divergence both on momentum and the expansion. So that's a good sign, and volatility might be looking for a pop to the upside. Now, if you look at the trend, we're also getting a nice sign of divergence. The indicator needs to put in this green line here very, very soon. We should see as candles close, because as we can see, we're making lower lows on the price action, and the expansions are slowly, this expansion is lower than this one. So again, another class A bullish divergence. What I would like to see is these EMA crosses to the upside. I want to see this EMA cross upwards and get a set of green histogram bars to the upside, which will get us absolutely bullish for that confirmation of a reversal with regards to trend. Trend and momentum are oversold, overextended in the bearish control zone. We're getting slight bullish divergences here on the momentum. So it's not a bad sign to consider yourself, trying to buy the dip at this level. It's not a bad sign, right? So what I would be doing here, guys, is buying in right now with 10 to 20% maximum is not a bad idea. If we form some sort of structure, a W, inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eve, with some bullish divergence, which is what we're getting, guys, that's a good sign for potential reversal to the upside, where we start reclaiming previous price action. But until then, I understand that we could get a pop to the upside and come down for a lower low, and still come down and hunt liquidity at much lower levels based on all the volume and liquidity that we have right here. That level right there has a bunch of liquidity that could be tested, and all the individuals that accumulated for this rally to the upside could capitulate. They could provide that liquidity to the market, and it could be hunted by the market. So we got to keep that in mind. What kind of relief do we get upwards? What kind of bullish response do we get up? Then what kind of bearish response do we get from the bears? If we get a higher low, it's starting to look like an inverse head and shoulder, right? If we come down for a lower low, guys, the trend is your friend, and we're coming down to lower levels. So until we get the change of character where we make a higher high or a higher low on the price action, guys, be careful out there, because we're not changing character of the structure, and the trend is your friend until proven otherwise. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.